Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay and I'm a registered dietitian. I own my own business called Cherish Nutrition, and through my business I focus on working with young and teen athletes like yourselves to use nutrition to improve athletic performance. When I work with individuals like you, we come up with a fueling plan to help you meet your athletic goals. For instance, if you want to be stronger out on the rink, we will come up with a plan to help you gain muscle, to stay injury-free, to have energy at practice, and to allow your body to recover from these training sessions. As a former college athlete myself and a 13-time marathoner, I personally understand the role nutrition plays in meeting your athletic goals. But as a former student athlete, I also get how busy you are and how you don't feel like you necessarily have time to focus on nutrition. But when athletes work with me, they realize how easy it can be to pay attention to your nutrition, and then you buy in and you start feeling more energized at practice, you're recovering better, you start meeting those goals you set for yourself. You realize the power that nutrition has. Like, nutrition is a secret weapon to gain an edge over your competition. So today I am here to help you work on your nutrition while you're at home during this shelter-in-place order. The off-season is actually an optimal time to start working on your nutrition, and this is because once sports and life and training starts again, you'll have a handle on your nutrition and you'll know what needs to be added in now that you're probably going to be training more at a higher level. So you'll be able to focus on what pre-fuel, like fuel before your practices, and what recovery fuel do I need. So today I'm going to start with covering the impact that nutrition has on sports performance. Then I will go into some nutrition basics, and then we will talk about 5 things you can start doing today from home. So let's start with talking about the impact nutrition has on sports performance. So I start with what drives athletic performance. And I want you to think of athletic performance like a 3-legged stool. Each leg represents something different. And without one leg, the stool would be like wobbly or fall over. So this first leg is genetics, so your genes. They determine your height, your body type, probably your weight, and some of your natural God-given ability to play hockey. We can't change this. This leg is stuck. It's done. The second leg is your training and conditioning. And your training influences your speed, your force, your endurance, and the power that you have. And most of you are probably checking the boxes in this category. But all this training, all this conditioning you're doing is supported by your nutrition. And so this is the third leg. So what you're putting into your body to support your training influences how much of an effect your training can have. So let's talk about it. So your training, let's say you've just done a 2-hour training session, and your training session is telling your muscles, let's grow, let's get stronger, let's gain endurance. But these changes have to be supported through nutrition. You must be giving your body enough calories to make these changes, along with the right mixture of carbohydrates and protein. So bottom line, in order to improve your strength, agility, speed, endurance, and power to meet your highest level, you have to support your nutrition, your training through nutrition. And so overall, nutrition gives athletes more energy. It allows athletes to recover better and faster from their training sessions. It decreases the incidence of being sick, of getting injured. It helps your muscles grow in strength and in stamina. It helps you not physically fatigue as fast, which all of this put together helps you become a better athlete. So before I can go into what you can do at home, I need to go over some quick nutrition basics with you. I want to talk about the 3 macronutrients, what they are, what they do. Some of you may know this, but some of you may not. And so I just want you guys to realize why each one is important. So the 3 macronutrients are carbohydrates, protein, and fat. My personal favorite is carbohydrates, so we will talk about that first. Carbs are what give an athlete energy, so they should be the base of your diet. Carbs are so important for athletes because not only do your muscles run off of carbs, but your brain prefers to use carbs as well. And so that's important for mental strength and just for remembering what you're supposed to do when you're out there. Carbs, if you are running low on them, it gives you that feeling of I can't go on. Like, you just can't stay mentally tough, or you just feel like you're moving in slow motion. What's really cool about carbs is when you eat them, if you don't need them, your body can store them in your muscles for use later. And so as an athlete, to support like your best athletic performance, we want those stores full. So we need to be eating the right amount of carbs to support our training. And so carbs are found in pasta, in rice, all of your grains. So in your cereals, your oats, they're found in milk, they're found in yogurt. Carbs are found in fruit, and they're also found in all of your vegetables, but specifically those starchy vegetables and bread. Other items that contain carbs are ones you guys might have too many of in your diet, but those items with added sugar, so like candy, your sweets, your Cokes, sports drinks, all contain added sugar. But an athlete's diet overall should be 50 to 60% carbohydrates. The next macronutrient I'm going to talk about is protein. And so protein is known as that muscle nutrient, but it does so much more. Protein forms your immune system. So all those immunoglobulins that are working together to keep you healthy are made up of protein. Your red blood cells made out of protein. Your bones, your teeth, everything is made out of protein. So what's important to understand when it comes to eating protein is that your intake needs to be spread throughout the day. You can't just eat one big lump of protein at the end of the day, because your body can just only use so much protein at one time. So as an athlete, we want our body to constantly be in a state of repair and building, and that is what protein does. And so we need to supply our bodies with a steady supply of protein, because our body doesn't store it. Like, you may be like, oh, my muscles, that's protein stores. But no, your muscles are your muscles. It's not where your protein is stored. We just don't store it. Athletes need about 0.6 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. The good news here is that most athletes easily hit this number, but just when they come to me, it's just working about on that protein timing for athletes that are wanting to sustain their muscle, grow their muscles, and recover from training. And so protein is found in all of your meat products. So it's found in chicken, in beef, in turkey. It's found in your seafood, like your fish and shrimp. It's also found in dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt. It's also found in eggs. And then for vegetarian athletes, some plant-based sources include soy products like tofu and your beans and legumes. So an athlete must eat protein in order to maintain their muscle mass. So even if you aren't training hard right now, you can maintain your muscle mass by eating enough protein to support those muscles and by working those muscles some. But I like to do a little myth buster here. If you are skimpy on carbohydrates, that protein you're eating does not go towards your muscles. Instead, it is turned into energy. So carbohydrates are as important as protein is when it comes to building muscle. The final macronutrient is fat, and fat is important for quality athletic performance. It's also a source of fuel at lower intensity, like exercising levels, and it's important for nutrient absorption. Your body cannot absorb vitamins A, D, E, and K without fat. So it's important for optimal athletic performance, and most athletes need the calories that are found in fat to meet their energy needs. Fat also tastes good, it's very satiating, it takes longer to digest, so it helps satisfy you for longer. So fat should make up 25 to 35% of the calories in your diet, and fat sources you should concentrate on including in your diet are like olive oil, avocados, nuts, seeds, nut butters. Those are all great sources of fat to include in your diet. It's also found in most of your animal protein sources. And the fats we want to limit are called saturated fats, and those are the ones that are found in fried foods, most of your baked goods and sweets, and your chips, and lots of those snacky types of foods. And again, those are saturated fats if you want to look at a nutrition label. And the final thing I want to talk about is color. And so while color does fall into the carbohydrate category, it includes your fruits and your vegetables. And this is something that most athletes and most Americans in general are lacking in. And they're just so important because they contain most of your micronutrients and they contain fiber, all which is important for athletes. In order to get the most out of your carbs and your protein and your fat, you must pair them with color so your body can utilize the energy in the carbohydrates. It can utilize the protein to help you build and repair those muscles. And so athletes that don't eat vegetables, I say let's eat fruit now. Most athletes do like fruit. So the similar colors of fruit and similar colored vegetables, they contain the same type of micronutrients, but I want you to work on training those taste buds. Train those taste buds to like some vegetables. So let's start preparing them different ways. Let's try roasting them instead of sauteing them. Just thinking of different ways or different things you can include vegetables in. So train those taste buds. So quick summary, we'd use carbs for energy, protein for muscle repair and building, fat for quality athletic performance and for nutrient absorption, and then we need color to stay healthy, help our body run at its optimal level. It's just so important. And so now that I've covered the nutrition basics, I want to start giving you guys those 5 tips you can work on from home starting today. So my first tip for you guys, tip number 1, is to eat breakfast. I need you guys to start your day with breakfast. I repeat, start your day with breakfast. So many athletes I work with do not eat breakfast. And so as an athlete, it is really important to stay in energy balance. And so let's think of energy balance right here. Energy deficit down here, that means our body is going to start breaking down muscle and fat to use that as energy, so it's below, and then energy surplus is up here, and so we want to stay here, but the only way to do that is by going up and down. So when we wake up in the morning, we're down here and we eat breakfast and our energy pops up, and then we do something. Let's say we work on some schoolwork, we do a training session, or even if we're just sitting on the couch watching Netflix, then it goes down, and then we need to eat a snack or lunch and it pops back up. And so it does this all throughout the day. So by skipping breakfast, you're just like keeping your body down here, and it's just breaking down your muscle, breaking down your fat, using that for energy, which could lead to injury, and it makes it really hard to meet your needs as an athlete. So breakfast kind of just sets that standard for the day. So obstacles, don't like breakfast foods. Don't eat breakfast foods. Let's eat what we would eat for lunch, or eat leftovers from dinner the night before. Find something to fill in that meal. Another obstacle I run into is I wake up and I'm not hungry. Well, let's start training our stomach to be hungry. Let's start with a small breakfast, and gradually your body will realize what's going on, and it will start asking you for that meal in the morning. So the goal here with this first tip to eat breakfast is to start getting something in your stomach, ideally within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up. And this will tie into tip 2, which is to stay on a meal and snack schedule. So I want you guys to start your day with breakfast and then be eating every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. So eating regularly throughout the day provides your body with a steady stream of nutrients and energy. And like I mentioned before, our body is in constant need of energy, and the only way for us to get this energy is to eat or drink something, or for our body to start breaking down existing muscle and fat. And so during this shelter-in-place order, it's so important to stay on a schedule for nutrition reasons. I don't want you guys sleeping all day, skipping breakfast, skipping lunch, then you eat dinner, and then snacking on junk food the rest of the day. That will not help athletic performance. This goes for the weekends too. Like even when you're not working on school, I want you guys staying on a meal and snack schedule. So I want you guys to sit down, figure out when your day will start, and stick to it. It will help you get your schoolwork done. It will help you fit your training in. It will help you make sure your body is getting the nutrients it needs. A meal and snack schedule means that you're meeting your energy needs. It means you're regularly feeding your muscles. And I work real hard to build my muscles, so I don't want my body breaking my muscles down to use them for energy, and I would assume you guys are working twice as hard as I am. You would want to keep that muscle. So once normal life resumes, I want you to figure out what your new meal and snack schedule looks like. If you're training more, you're probably going to have to add in more snacks or even an extra meal to help meet those needs, and that is something I can definitely help you out with. So the goal with tip 2 of staying on this meal and snack schedule is to continually provide your body with a steady stream of nutrients by fueling every 3 to 4 hours. So tip 3 is to build your plates off of your training. And this is where the macronutrients we talked about earlier come in. So the USOC, the US Olympic Committee, developed these performance plates to help athletes fuel based on the amount of training they do. And so there are 3 performance plates. And so the first one is your easy day plate. And this is for days you're either not training at all or you're having a really light training session. So we want to base our meals off of the easy day plate on those days. And so you'll take your plate and you divide it in half, like this beautiful plate I drew here. And you'll have half of it color And then we break this part into half, and we have 1/4 of our plate is protein and 1/4 of our plate as carbs. And you will notice as your activity increases, this carb section will increase. The protein will always stay the same. So this plate is for days you're not training or you have a really light training session. The next one is your moderate day plate. And so this is for like most of your normal days when you have normal training sessions. And so for this plate, you'll notice that same 1/4 is protein, and then you take the rest of the plate and you divide it in half. And so like a little over a third of your plate is color, and a little over a third of your plate is carbohydrates. And so you're expending more energy on your moderate training days, so you have more carbohydrates on these days. And finally, your third day is your hard day plate or your competition day plate. So as you can see, half of your plate is now carbs, that same 1/4 is protein, and then you still have a little bit of color on your plate. And so I want you to use this plate on days you have games, days you have really hard training sessions, days you're working out multiple times a day. Use this plate. I also want you to use this plate the night before games, and like the night before you're going into a 2-a-day session or a really hard workout, and this makes sure those carbohydrate stores we talked about earlier are full, so your muscles will be ready to go, and that way you're replenishing those energy stores. And then after working out, when you use this plate, you're replenishing your energy stores with the carbohydrates, but then giving your muscles that protein in order to build and repair those muscles. So by basing your meals off of your training, you're making sure that you're giving your body the nutrients it needs to recover, the nutrients it needs for energy. You definitely should be adding some fats to your plates. So the harder your workout, the harder you're working, the more fats you need to add. And I definitely encourage you to add dairy to a couple of those plates to get in those good micronutrients for your bones, like your calcium and your vitamin D. So the goal with using these performance plates is to eat based off of your training level to best meet your energy and your nutrient needs. So that's tip 3. And so now we get to tip 4. And so tip 4 would be hydration, good old water. And so this is a huge item I want to address. Water is the most essential nutrient, and we need it in the largest quantity every day to survive. It makes up 55 to 65% of our body weight, and it's important for muscle function, for regulating your body temperature through sweat, to help you circulate your blood. And all of this is important when you're an athlete. So at home, we tend not to drink enough water. I've noticed this about myself. I'm not carrying a water bottle with me everywhere like I do when I'm normally out working or out with my kids. So hydration is definitely something all of us need to be working on from home. It's the easiest thing we can do as an athlete to improve our performance and to help prevent injury. Hockey players in particular are at risk for dehydration when you're in season due to all of the pads and the gear that you guys wear. So you're sweating so much because of you're exerting yourself, and then you have all of this weight on you, but you're playing in a cool environment, so that doesn't necessarily stimulate you to drink. So going into a training session in a game, hydrated is key and gives you an advantage over your opponent. Isn't that so easy? Like you gain an advantage all by just drinking some water. So a good place to start when you're like, Lindsay, how much water should I drink? Is with 1/2 ounce to a full ounce of water per pound of body weight daily. So if you're a heavy sweater, you'll probably need more on the higher end of this. And once you're back into heavy training, or since it's starting to get warm out, you may need an electrolyte something, but that's something a dietitian like myself can help you with. But you can determine if you're a heavy sweater, if you're someone who you can see salt visible on you, or you have those sweaty salt lines on your workout gear after training sessions. But so once you calculate that goal, so you've taken that 0.5 to 1 ounce of water per pound of body weight, the best way to meet your needs is to figure out when you're going to drink your water. So create a hydration schedule. And research actually shows you're more likely to meet your water needs if you've created this schedule. So take some time and look at your meal schedule and figure out when you're also going to fit in your water. And so this is just important because the majority of athletes are showing up to training sessions and to games dehydrated, and research shows that as little as 2% of body weight loss due to dehydration has a negative impact on sports performance. And the consequences of dehydration on athletic performance is injury, high perceived exertion, so you feel like you're working a lot harder than you really are, you have early fatigue, and then trouble like tolerating heat, so even tolerating like the body heat that your body is generating. While the benefits of hydration are reduced muscle cramps, delays in physical fatigue, you have increased mental sharpness, you have improved body heat regulation, which makes sense because you're drinking water, so you're able to sweat it out. And then you also have faster recovery from training and competing. So a good way to monitor your hydration status is to monitor your urine. Pale colored urine typically means you're hydrated. Darker urine means you probably need to be drinking some water. And so the goal with hydration is to drink enough water to meet your needs, along with eating enough electrolytes, which most of those are found in your fruits and your vegetables, to keep your body performing at its optimal level. So drinking water, pretty easy, right? So my final tip for athletes is to meet your nutrition needs while you're at home. Many athletes feel like they shouldn't be eating since they aren't training like they normally do. Maybe they're not working out quite as hard or quite as much, but news flash. You need food even if you aren't moving a single muscle in your body. You are a human, so your body requires energy, and the only way we can get this energy is through eating food or drinking something with calories. So underfueling, which is also undereating, has many negative consequences for an athlete. You have low energy, so you're not going to be able to perform at training sessions like you want to. You are not able to totally recover from these training sessions. You are likely to get injured, which leads to all of this. Leads to decreased performance. And underfueling now during this off season just sets you up to be injured as soon as you are able to start training at your normal level again, because you're not taking care of your current muscle mass. So some signs you're underfueling, if you're wondering if maybe you're doing this, would be that you're irritable and tired, you're craving foods high in fat, high in sugar all the time, you're constantly hungry. So like you eat dinner and then 30 minutes later your stomach's growling again and you're rummaging through the pantry. So that's a sign of underfueling, and that could be remedied by eating more earlier in the day. Another sign of underfueling is like injury after injury after injury. Like you can't stay healthy, and that's just because your body's not able to repair itself like it normally would. Another sign is feeling out of control when you're put in front of your favorite foods. Like a pizza is put in front of you, you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't had pizza in so long, and so that's a sign of underfueling. And in females, losing your period is a sign of underfueling. And so there's ways to make sure you're not underfueling, and a lot of these are tips we've talked about already. So making sure you eat breakfast, so starting your day off with some calories is so helpful. Sticking to a meal schedule, so making sure you're feeding your body, giving your muscles what they need every 3 to 4 hours. Eating based off of those performance plates we talked about earlier. Base your plates off of your training, so that way you're getting in the right mixture of carbs and protein that your body needs. One thing we haven't talked about is listening to your hunger cues. So when you're hungry and it's not a snack time, not a meal time, eat. Like your body's telling you that it needs more energy. So either move a snack up, move lunch up earlier, whatever the case is, either add in an extra meal or bump something up to like satisfy that hunger. It's really important for athletes to pay attention to like their body's hunger and fullness cues. Like you might be like, Lindsay, on easy days, my stomach is growling. What's the deal? I've barely done anything. And that's your body is recovering, so it's asking you for extra calories. Humans are not machines, so we do not require the same amount of calories every day. Some days we require more, some days we require less, and really the only way to know that is by listening to what your body's telling you. So the goal with tip 5, meeting your nutrition needs while you're at home, is for you guys to get enough fuel to account for what your body needs just to live every day, plus the extra energy needed for training and just your daily life activities. If you're chasing after siblings, walking your dog, like all of that accounts into your energy needs. We need to meet these needs so your body can adequately recover from training sessions, and so you have energy for future training sessions and to stay healthy. So meet those nutrition needs. So the 5 tips, just to summarize everything, is tip 1, eat breakfast. Tip 2, follow a meal and snack schedule. Tip 3, base your plates off of your training. So hard days, eat more carbs. Easy days, less carbs, more color. Tip 4, hydrate, drink some water. Tip 5, meet those nutrition needs. And you may be thinking these tips are so easy, but nutrition isn't complicated and we don't need to make it complicated. And by doing small things like I've talked about, you will become a better athlete. You'll be able to support the training that you're doing. So with your nutrition and your training during this unprecedented time, your goal should be to stay ready so you can be ready once we're allowed to start training again. I do hope these tips were helpful for you and you feel like you can start implementing them in your home today, tomorrow, Monday. Please feel free to reach out to me for guidance. I do offer quick consults where you can come ask me a nutrition question or two, tailored to you, of course. Nutrition is very individualized. These sessions are discounted to $30 right now, and they're 20 to 25 minutes long. I also do individual nutrition coaching if you're interested in creating a full-on fueling plan, if you want to make body composition changes like losing weight, gaining muscle, losing body fat. This is actually the best time to start working on those goals when you're not in season. The off season is the best time to work on nutrition changes. So I will send you guys all an email later summarizing these tips and with my contact information so you can book these appointments if you're interested. So I just want to encourage you guys to make nutrition a priority along with your training. It really is that secret weapon that can give you the edge against your competition, and I would love to help you meet those athletic goals. I just want to say thank you to Mike and the Texas Tigers for inviting me to come speak today. I absolutely love talking food and nutrition with athletes, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for this opportunity. Bye.